Hi everybody, welcome back to the Albus Man Faces podcast. It is your live show once again, 2 weeks in a row, lad. How is all doing?
We are live. Still alive.
Yeah,
Alive and still alive. Yeah, another week of being alive, another week of not being able to leave the house, and another takeover story. What more do you need?
It literally is Groundhog Day, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit, yeah.
Another takeover story.
How's everyone doing with being stuck in the house?
It's killing
I had
me.
a Britney Spears moment and obviously shaved me hair, me face, the lot.
Oh, I thought you were going to say around 100 metres in 5 seconds.
There's that as well. That's why I shaved, to make myself more aerodynamic.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Right, so lads, we're going to dive straight in with the thing that's just happened in the last couple of hours here.
If you'd like to.
So, we've had a few questions in, so rather than reading each one of them out, obviously, a lot of the conversation on social media right now is, once again, another takeover rumour, suggesting this one's the closest it's ever been, which means how far away are we still from a takeover? It could be right at the bottom of the line, because have we ever been close, ever?
No.
Well, that's what it was. Obviously, it broke last night. Was it the Telegraph last night? Had the article?
Yeah.
And then this morning, kind of straight away, Craig Hope poured cold water in and said, "Oh, mind, it's I'm getting conflicting stories." So it was again. It was just we reached the point that normally takes 2 or 3 days, like overnight. But then in the last couple of hours, the Athletics had to start the story that George wrote saying, "Right, it's time to kind of say where we are now." And I mean, I never thought it'd gone away, the Saudi lads, the pit. But, like, the whole thing comes down to does Ashley want to sell, doesn't it, really? That's what it's all about. I've seen people say that it's been released because of the Sports Direct thing with the lockdown last week and can we keep our shops open? But I don't think the takeover story is going to have much effect on, like, people in London or Manchester who are upset with Ashley, like, so I don't think it's got out to do with that. I do think there's something in it, like, but again, it might all come to naught because apparently where they are now, I was reading, I think Mark Douglas put a thing out saying that BZG were there last summer. The Premier League were informed and certain documents had been signed and handed over, and that didn't happen, so there's no guarantees, like, but if they're talking, if they are still talking, it's still ongoing, it's promising, like, I mean, at face value, I mean, there's a lot of people out there saying it's not happening, of course it's not happening, but I don't know. Something in it.
The big thing is that obviously Ashley's going to need money with the way things are on the high street at the minute, with obviously all of his stores are closed down and that kind of thing. So he's going to be losing a lot of money at the moment, as everybody on the high street is. But so is he? Is that making him more of a willing seller than he has been in the past? I guess only time will tell.
The share price has crashed, hasn't it? This year really. So does that play a part? I mean, reading this stuff and it might have absolutely nothing to do with that, like. But it on the face of it, as I say, it looks like it could be promising, like. But how many times have we been here before?
I'm the same as I was before.
It sounds like you're convinced there, like.
I wouldn't say I'm convinced it's going to happen. I'm convinced that what's being said or what's being said is, like, true. Apparently, according to the article, it was last week something was handed in the Premier League to say they were interested, so it's taking this on to come out. But who's sharing it? Who's apparently the last leak, as it were, really, really upset them and nearly kind of derailed it. And now this is, to me, this sounds like a leak as well. So is it someone who doesn't want it to happen, or?
Well, the Premier League's pretty busy at the minute, aren't they? Let's be fair.
They've got their hands full, like that.
They've got their hands full, like. But I agree with Bessie. To be fair, you see people on Twitter and that say, "Oh, it's complete bullshit, like total nonsense." And I do disagree with that completely. There's definitely something there, but whether or not he's going to accept, I just don't know. All you can hope is that.
I think what sorry, so what I was saying there, I think Bessie's hit the nail on the head there. I think we've all been under the impression that it's been there for a while now. It's over a year apparently that this party's been interested, so the BZG group. The rumours are always going to be there in the background, but is anyone really getting excited over this one like what happened in the past, or is it just another day, another story for most of it.
I think it's probably the fact that the papers have got nothing to report on at the minute. Obviously, there's no sport happening. They still need to get people reading and getting those clicks. So what better time for a story like this to break? It's very coincidental timing.
So Michael Sullivan's just sent in there on the back of that. He says we seem to be the only club that has these takeovers made public.
Yeah, that's something that's puzzled me. I mean, going back to Amanda Staveley's first thing, two and a half years ago, like that came up and she was definitely going to buy the club, and then it was she might not do, and then it was a waste basically. And it's happened time and time again, and I can't remember. I mean, I don't pay that much attention to other clubs, but I can't remember like when the Glazers bought Man U that there was this big, long, drawn out months and months of it just happened. And the same with Man City, the same with all the clubs that get taken over, really.
Same with Wolves. Wolves probably be the most recent one in recent years, isn't it?
Yeah, Leicester as well.
Sheffield United.
Leicester, yeah.
Right.
It's just us Alaba though, isn't it, man? It's just us Alaba. There's just paper talk left, right, and centre. Things not happening when you think there should be. Oh, it does your head in. It absolutely does your head in this club at times. Like, but we'll have to just wait and see, I guess. We'll just have to wait and see. And I think now though the problem we've got is with no football at all. The only thing that's going to get peddled now is this. So like every single morning we wake up, there's gonna be something new, Well,
yeah. It's hard to fill your time, isn't it, without any football?
It's really hard, really hard.
We're all sitting watching horrendous streams that were filmed on a potato like that the weekend, watching that match. And obviously, we know YouTube are cutting down the quality of videos and condensing at the minute. So people will say that when they're watching this, it'll probably not look great, but
that's really good.
We're doing this in 4K.
That was the same as the VHS version, though, wasn't it? Really, I remember even the same as what it was when
it was only 480p that it was shown in on Saturday.
What do you think? Was it 1080p in 1996? Like, what do you think it was like?
It was better. It was higher than 480p.
So it wasn't 480p in the 90s, like.
I put something on Twitter about the video, well, the YouTube stream looking basically like it gets straight from the video. But if you notice the NUFC TV crest in the top corner, that was blurred.
It pixelated, wasn't it, a little bit?
Yeah, so obviously what's happened, YouTube's just knocked that quality right down. So it's no fault of the club and the admin who are behind it. It's basically YouTube just going, too high, slow right down.
If anyone's pissing and moaning about a fucking quality of a stream, like, with everything that's going on at the moment in the world, you need to have your head tested. That I'll say.
Jack, I don't believe for 1 second you didn't watch that guy. Oh, it's not very good quality.
Not once did that come through my mind. Not once.
He didn't because he was taking all of the calls at work of people wanting to cancel the broadband because the quality was crap.
No, you're wrong. Actually, I sat with my feet over on my desk and I sat and watched the entire 90 minutes. And I never mentioned quality.
Normal day for you, then, eh?
Mine, it was brilliant, like, wasn't it, the game?
It was fucking unbelievable.
Like, I really, really enjoyed it. I felt great at the same time after it finished. I thought, I enjoyed that.
I did. Yeah, I smashed about 5 or 10 cans in. I was just thinking about the match. I literally felt we had won. Like, it was mental. It was just so many good performances. So many good performances.
So I would have mentioned something at the back of that one. That someone, I think the tag unit Decker, or you found it on social media. Some bloke was saying David Batty was shite in that game.
Honest to God. Well, listen, right, let's get a few things out here, right? So, bearing in mind, I went to that game, but I was only a kid, right? And I've watched it so many times back, but you generally only see the goals, right? Like, you only see the main parts. I could not believe how well David Batty played that game. I was literally watching it. Obviously, I watched the full 90, and I was like, "Fuck, there's Batty again! God, he's tackled him! Yeah. God, he's passed to him! God, he's brought that play up!" And I was like, "Wow, he's the best player on the pitch, him by a mile." So then I put that on Twitter, and then some bloke went, "Nah, he cost for the title, and he was shit today," meaning like shit in that match. And I was just like, "What the hell?" Like, but that's social media, right?
That's been a suggestion for a while, though, hasn't it? That Batty cost us that league.
Yeah.
So Batty and Espria signed at the same time, didn't they? Both kind of. Obviously, it's almost like a cliche now blaming Tino for that. I mean, it was But I think it was Keegan or something else that one. It was just a bit naive, and Ferguson was he'd been there and done it, like. But David Batty, to blame him, like I just don't understand it. I don't get it.
That started from Lee Clark, didn't it? David Batty doing it because when he came
David
on the podcast, he was saying,
David Batty.
I was waiting for someone.
That's someone's pet name, that.
David Batty. He's also like that.
The Yorkshire Kardashian.
David Batty absolutely despises football, apparently.
He just
at work.
Just dropped off
he
the
came
radar,
out.
didn't
He did a little bit with apparently with BBC Yorkshire. Whatever. I think the last thing he had out to do with football was they had a Gary Speed Memorial at Ellen Road. Him, Gary McAllister, and Gordon Stratton, from the league winning team. And I think he's just gone on ground. He just likes his boxing now. When me and Taylor were doing, I don't want to talk about that because I was a shit. No, but me and Taylor worked on a project a couple of years ago. And with
what was it called?
what was it?
I can't remember now. I forget now. But it was Taylor thought he found David Batty on eBay selling old boxing magazines. And I forget why now, but Taylor kind of went through this kind of bloke's profile. I mean, eBay doesn't give much away, does it? But like he's going, I'm sure that's got to be David Batty. So he says, "Oh, mate, are you David Batty?" Now we're doing him. But then would you expect David Batty again, like after years and years in the shadows again? Oh, you found this, never mind, mate. I was a guy.
So let's get it straight, mate. Right?
This would have found somebody then.
That's what I mean. You didn't find David Batty or Philip Albania.
I know. Well, David Batty was number 4 as well, so that's what we found. Beresford Barton.
Going on the list.
Go to the squad.
Darren Peacock was he number 6?
15. Howie was number 6. Peacock was number 15, I think.
So yeah, like I couldn't believe that. Like when that showed up my timeline about the whole David Batty thing, like because watching that game, he was just non-stop in midfield. He's clattering everyone that came near him.
Do you know what's funny as well is I always had Batty from my memory was like a sitting midfielder that just broke the play up, but he was more than that in that particular game. He was breaking up, of course, but look at the move they're doing when he ends up in the box and he just chips it over the goalkeeper, but it goes wide. He was almost box to box that game. I thought his performance was absolutely like unbelievable, like honestly, next level.
He was the
engine of the team, wasn't he? Then someone says he was absolutely fat. Like
the bloke went to the World Cup in 1998. He was getting a start as well. Like that was a good England team then as well. Sure, you don't get that. Like
he's a good player. Like
he was a good player.
Well, going back to what Bessie said right at the start there, I just thoroughly enjoyed the game. Like I did, it was just nice to watch it. And, it was nice to reminisce and see the beauty of the team we had. Were absolutely magnificent, weren't we? Really, the whole team were just brilliant. Like Beresford was amazing as well. Everything was class. Like,
I mean, you would never sell Ginola or Ferdinand after that game, would you?
Well, you would have thought.
So
one of my favourite bits. Sorry, Chris, I was talking about there a bit, mate. One of my favourite bits, and it still is towards the end of the game. Albert and someone should make a film with him. Albert and Cantona have a bit of a come together, and Cantona was in attack, and Albert looks down at me and see him, you fucking bastard. But he says even like you're going to be a literally, like, see it looks like the most Geordie thing in the world coming out of his mouth. It's brilliant.
The tackle he does on Bielsa, by the way, Cantona's horrendous. He had already been booked as well, Cantona, by that stage.
That's a straight right, buddy. He gets in with 2 feet, and you can see his leg going to like Bears. He's great. He gets. It's a horrible tackle.
Yeah, there's a tackle earlier on in the game. I think it's Batty and
Butt.
There's a butt where Batty stamps on him, like kicks him back.
Yeah,
and
that's when he gets the throat.
Yeah, he throttles him.
Which
it's got everything that game, hasn't it? Apart from Man U goal.
But they came close a few times though. That they still had chances, even though we're absolutely battered them. Really,
yeah. But the team
still pretty much an end-to-end game.
Park made a couple of saves. I mean, Poborski could have had a penalty. I think like there was a 1-0, 10-2-0 when he goes over Park. Park does catch him. Like it's just the way he goes down.
I think he kicks him. Like he's jumping over him and just leaves his foot on Park. If that makes sense.
Tino against Barcelona was really similar.
Yeah, today that would be given 100%. Like, but I thought in terms of the performance itself, you just think about all-out attacking. I thought, well, were quite direct at times as well when we needed to be as well. It was such an amazing performance. Like, well, every time we lost the ball, we just got it back. Robert Lee and Batty, just to mention a few, they were just so on it all the time. It was an amazing performance, like amazing, great memories, and obviously
Rob
we'll never
Lee
ever
on
see
the right hand side in that game as well.
because we
He
couldn't
used
fit
to
it
play
in.
out there quite a while. Quite often he used to play out on the
Gillespie,
right.
so listening to the commentary, Gillespie had a 24-hour bug apparently, and he was ill.
Well,
So yeah.
you did when she was putting balls in like that, do you?
Oh, I know.
Third down's goal.
Oh, I love his
It's that
celebration
little-
now, but when he runs over and he's giving it this at the
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
There's a little. It's not even half a second where Schmeichel thinks he's going to get it. After it hits a crossbar, he kind of goes for it, and it's still.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't hate Peter Schmeichel as much as I used to, like, but still, I love that.
Brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant.
One thing that I noticed as well, like obviously he's not a very likable bloke anyway, but Andy Gray, when we score the first, when Peacock scores the first, he's adamant that ball hasn't gone over the line. He's constantly talking about it for the next 10 minutes until they get a better angle.
It's when they get that free frame on it, so you can see it's over.
Yeah.
He goes,
It's a yard over.
I think he had a point though.
Should have had VAR back then.
He did have a point in terms of the linesman. The linesman, because Irwin was blocking the linesman's view. So, like, to be fair, like the linesman to give that is quite a big call. Like, but then you're right. There's a free stream a little bit later on when they showed it, and it is clear. Even in the worst footage ever in terms of quality, you could still see it was over the line. Like.
Yeah. So a few questions which have just been sent in while we've been talking about that. Jason Hobby sends in Batty or Speed.
Speed.
Yeah. Well, Decker's not convinced. You're on the fence with this one, mate, are you?
It's funny, you know. Honestly, do you know that book I was sending you photos of yesterday, the newspaper headlines one? And I was obviously only has the good like days in, if you know what I mean. I know we lost the final, but it has all the good moments in it. And I know it is, honestly, all the way through. I was reading the lines of the player ratings, and Speed was always like 6, 7, 6, 5, and I was like, how was it better than that one? Like, I thought
when he first signed, he really struggled. His first time he came from Everton, nearly halfway through this season. And I remember my dad didn't like him at all to start with. I mean, and it took me a little while, but he didn't carry Speed for me. It's like the header he scored against, was it PSV in Europe? Or was it Feyenoord? I forget now, but he seemed to score loads of headers.
I did.
Maybe between like 2001 and 2004, 5 when he left, he just seemed to pop up headers all the time. He was a really good player in the end. Like, he kind of, because he was a winger at Leeds when he won the league, he was a left winger.
Yeah, he used to play left wing.
Yeah, and then he played for Newcastle. Obviously, I had Solano on one side and he played on the left when he was there.
He started moving inside because obviously gigs started coming through for Wales and stuff.
Wales,
so he then went played into the middle, didn't he?
He used to try, for me, he used to try too many. A lot of Hollywood balls, like, he used to always stand in the centre and really try and spray it, from my memory, all of the time. It used to really piss us off.
Like Shelby.
Sounds like Shelby. Are you sure you're not getting confused?
You love him.
Yeah, but you hate Shelby though, so how the fuck, you know what I mean? Speed off. But anyway, yeah, both very good players. Probably Speed edges it simply because of arriving late in the box. I love a player that can arrive late in the box and nick a goal. Whereas in fairness, he doesn't necessarily do that, does he? So
I think
So on the back
Speed
of
was more creative, wasn't he, than Batty?
David Batty choke slamming Nicky Butt, and then the best moment of Batty's career is when Shearer smashes Neil Lennon's face in, and he walks over and just picks his legs up and throws them off. I mean, come on, that's brilliant, right? So
He didn't fuck about Batty, like, did he? At all.
No.
He had no time for shit like that. He was brilliant. I loved him. I mean, me saying I'm first Speed isn't because I don't like. I love how Batty was great, but I thought Speed was better. Again, he said that he just put up the goals. He wouldn't arrive in the box. He had that kind of that ability, that innate kind of what we call it. He was just great.
yeah, I agree.
So on the back of that, which Dick has just mentioned, that headline book that you've got there, there was an extract from a player ratings, and it was Alan Shearer. And do you want to explain what it said in that one, Dick? So obviously he didn't have a very good game. And what did
the cup final, wasn't it? Was it the Man U Cup final? Was it that one?
That was the Man United Cup
That's what
final.
it was.
And to be honest, I remember I love Shearer more than any player we've ever had. But I always remember the two cup finals. I thought he played really bad in both, and I was kind of disappointed that he didn't lead better, play better, basically. But anyway, in the paper review, I believe that was the Daily Mirror, is what the the book I've got is using anyway, and it gives him a 5, and it says in there that had no service and was isolated from start to finish. And obviously, I messaged you saying, so Shearer gets that put against him, but Joe Linton, if that was the same thing, Joe Linton would just get, yet again, misfiring, doesn't do this, doesn't do
Didn't
that.
try
5.
hard enough.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas Shearer just gets a 5, but it's not Shearer's fault, it's the rest of the team's. And I just feel like, I don't, you know.
In mitigation, Shearer probably scored about 150 goals by that point, Mike. So
I agree, but that doesn't. I do agree, but that doesn't wash for 90 minutes though. If you've played shit, you can't just go, well, that's all right. You played well for the last 12 months. On that day, you've been absolutely dreadful, and you're basically you're hanging out with the rest of the team. What's quite ironic is if you look at the rest of the midfielders and the ratings, I think they've all got 7s. So they couldn't have been that fucking bad. You know what I mean? Anyway,
I remember both of those cup finals. We were poor across the entire pitch.
yeah, we're terrible in both.
Absolutely awful.
We caught 2 teams at their maximum. I mean, we caught Man United on the treble year, which, I mean, however.
Yeah.
We caught a very good Arsenal team as well. So.
I'm sure it was Barcelona won a double, didn't they? Yeah.
You were sorry?
I'm sure Arsenal won a double, didn't they? Yeah.
Yes, they did. That was a double, yeah. And then won the treble in '99. So I mean, you know, it's you know, we're not playing fucking Millwall in the cup or in the final. Do you know what I mean? We're a bit unlucky, do you know what I mean? But
one question which I put on Twitter during that game was, if you could take 2 players from our current squad, so the current starting 11, let's say, and put them in that starting 11 that was facing Man U, which 2 would you go for? A lot of people started confusing what I was saying, and they were taking the likes of Shearer and sticking with my current squad as, you know, the other way around.
Yeah.
So the reason why I went for 2 is because I think a lot of people will just automatically go for Dubravka.
That would have been
like for like swap.
that would have been like,
so that's why I put 2, just by pushing out a little bit more. And which other player would you put in that?
Well, you know what mine is. So next,
Which is yours, mate?
Saint.
Saint.
Who's going to Who are you going to replace him?
Yeah,
But Ginola.
You can't drop Ginola for Saint, can you?
This is difficult, like. But I'm not putting Hayden ahead of Batty, am I? I'm not, like, it's a tough one, really. It's tough across the board, right? Yeah,
maybe it's Almiron on the right hand side.
Yeah, possibly.
Over Rob Lee.
Yeah, Robbie wasn't a winner, was he? Really? Like, he was good. He was good at what he did there, like, but
not that Miggy's much of a right winger either, but
no.
At least on the right, mate.
you would kind of have a bit. Yeah, maybe
on the left.
So Degas go for Saint.
And Dubravka, obviously, as we mentioned.
Yeah. Would, like, obviously I mentioned there, would you not look at like the centre back?
Maybe for Peacock, you have to say, wouldn't you? Really? Yeah, look at the cells.
Imagine Philippe Albert and Fabian Schär. Oh, that'd be dream team. Those 2, like.
Picking shots from 45 yards each, and that.
They could both
finishing out each, but it looked great, like.
Shaw could grow tash and they would have matching tashes. Be amazing, that, like.
I think you'd have to probably stick either Fernandez or Lascelles in alongside Albert.
Yeah.
Just to be that no nonsense, just to hold. To be fair, I think that's why Peacock used to get a lot of stick, because he was just the defender, wasn't he? And
yeah,
he used to allow the rest of them to get forward and do more.
It's funny you say that, actually, because I agree totally. That's what he was labelled as. But in that Man United game, he was alright on the ball, wasn't he? I mean, if you look at Lascelles, let's just look at him for Lascelles for a moment. He was head and shoulders compared to Lascelles on the ball, I thought. But in my day, I remember when I used to go, Peacock was always the one that was shit. Everyone, him. You know what I mean? But I'm just judging him over that one game, of course. I appreciate, obviously, everything went well that game. But he did look quite good on the ball, actually, compared to what I remember.
I always thought Peacock was a canny player, mate. I was like,
just because you got your picture taken with him and you had to have the same haircut.
Because I the same haircut,
Hey, Bessie, that was some photo, like, wasn't it? No, that was unbelievable.
It was that.
Yeah, I love the keeper top on as well.
Oh, I love that.
Steve Howe was a hell of a defender for us. You know, he didn't get the run of games and the career that he probably should have, because of the injuries he picked up.
Yeah.
And the time he was at Newcastle, because had he have stayed fit and not picked up those knocks, I think. I mean, he was getting in the England squad. I know he talked about I think it was something in the Athletic or recently where he was talking about getting called up. And he got injured just before either the Euros or the World Cup. At the time, it might have been France '98. It might have been.
Yeah, was he in the Euro '96 squad, or was he just picked around that time? Maybe.
He would have been.
I think
Well,
he's
he
in
would
the
have been
96
big
squad.
at that time, wasn't he? So he's
Yeah.
probably.
Haven't you
And then
seen that Newcastle documentary with and Steve Howie's on there ringing his lass from the team hotel when they were away from home? Have you never seen it? I'll show you tonight. I seen it again on YouTube last night. It's on for an hour, and it's like a fly on the wall documentary of that's like the 94, 95 season. It's
So
really,
is that the original like All or Nothing? The Newcastle?
pretty much, mate. Honestly, pretty much. It's they're interviewing Steve Howie, and then it comes on with his lass, and his lass has got the worst hair you could imagine, right? Just superb. She's honestly, when you see it, you'll laugh, right?
Scrunchies
like,
the lot.
And they're asking us saying like, oh, so what's it like with? Obviously, your husband obviously is getting loads of autographs. There's loads of women like throwing himself at your husband. She's like, oh, it's fine, I don't mind. He rings us all the time from the team hotel, and you see Steve Howie like I think there's QPR away, and he's coming in with like a cup of tea, and he's sitting by like the phone on his hotel bed. Hiya, darling, yeah, Reed, how was the kids? It's absolutely mental. It's a good documentary, like it's alright.
So we've just had Alex Shields has just sent me a message. We haven't heard from him for a while. He actually says that he hasn't been in touch recently. Asks how we're all keeping. So you want to read?
Hi, come in.
Hi.
Is that His Holiness?
Is it?
It is, the Rev.
The Reverend, aye.
Father.
He also says he's been practicing his keepy uppies in the garden.
With toilet roll? Or with...
So he does mention in the toilet roll. So we put a video out last week, which Adam put together for.
Yeah.
So it turned out, it went down pretty well, didn't it?
No, I did.
Yeah. Bestie
So, yeah,
pulled his hamstring, so sorry about that, Bestie.
So if you haven't seen it yet,
Put the neighbours' windows through.
what with toilet roll?
No, they put it nice through my toilet rolls, kept one with the fence.
So yeah, if you haven't seen that, head over. It's on Galaxy Shots Twitter. It's on the Facebook. It's I think it's only on those two at the minute. Like Instagram would let we put it on. But it's worth a watch just to see Bestie boot the toilet roll into his next door neighbour's garden.
Honestly, that was.
Well, is it?
I must have taken about 30 takes, and that was easily the best one.
Like, how many foot is like the next door neighbour's fence to like where you're standing?
Pretty much. I might have to go and have a look. Yeah, it's about 10 foot well, so.
But when he kicked the toilet roll, it was a full roll. When it came back, it was only a third left. So it unravelled that many times.
It was like clocks when it came back.
We've also got Holly Oakley has also said Paul Dummett, obviously. So she likes sending just Paul Dummett across to her.
No, she's the Paul Dummett Defence League, isn't she?
Aye, Paul Dummett Defence League.
Did that not start when we were talking about like really fast players, and someone said, I think it was Mark, what about Paul Dummett?
No, it was, aye.
Was it? Remember, we talked
Paul,
about
Yeah, but it started on the fan camps, didn't it?
yeah,
originally.
Paul Dummett Defence League's been like a few months back, aye.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I like Paul
found
Dummett.
that little clip. The stat, I googled it afterwards, and he came fifth in the entire league. The fifth fastest player in the league that season.
It was the year one down, wasn't it? It was 96. Sorry, 2016.
96.
96, sorry.
Straight out of the womb. Wow.
3-year-old Paul Dummett smoking everyone in the hospital in the RBI.
So Neil Jr. also sends in, once again, all the way from Wales. He says apparently that the paperwork was submitted to the Premier League last Tuesday in regards to the takeover. But what I've briefly read, like I said, I haven't really looked into it. What I've briefly read, the Premier League really don't take any notice until the seller contacts them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what. Again,
that one up.
and UFC 360's just put something on. Am I allowed to mention them on here, or will I get wrong for that?
Oh, yeah, Danny's Ari runs that way, eh?
Is he? Right. So he's just put something on.
Too late now, anyway, mate.
It is actually really, isn't it? That's Newcastle have submitted them. That's what the Times have said. That we've submitted papers to the Premier League. Again, obviously, I appreciate we don't, we're just only reading a report. But it says Times understands that Newcastle officials have sent paperwork to the Premier League outlining the proposed takeover of the club from them. So if we've sent it, then obviously that's more of a positive, right, than anything else. But You know,
It's true, yeah, definitely.
100%.
The Times is a paper that I would trust as well, though. Do you know what I mean? If you said it was the Daily Mirror had said it or the Sun had said it, then I probably wouldn't. But the Times, I feel like I don't know, I believe it more.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll
apparently
be right, mate.
it's just
If the
breaking
club
on
are doing
Twitter
it, then yeah.
that I was just going to say it's just breaking on Twitter at the minute that PIF, so the investment fund, have actually registered another investment company which is called MC UK.
I'm not having this company's house thing again. Like, we'll fall for the company's house thing every single
Every
time.
time.
What was the last one? Zebra something.
Project Zebra,
Well, that was
something like that.
project, wasn't it? Yeah.
Project Zebra. And what was the Stavely one?
Monochrome was one as well, wasn't it? I don't. That wasn't the Stavely one. I think that was that the Abu Dhabi one in the summer. Project Monochrome.
Oh, how it?
Monochrome, yeah.
The Stavely one. Was it Monochrome Stavely?
Yeah, I think that was the one the last
Something
one.
Veil. No, what's something Veil?
Stavely's was before that, wasn't it?
Aye, there was Canterville.
That was the one.
Aye.
So yeah, so there's three that we've just named there, which were completely not that bullshit. So
You're depressing us. Come on, don't do this. Don't do this.
Sorry.
and that's before we even talk about Barry Mott.
Hey, Neil Gior has found the documentary. He's just tagged with it. He's found it, the one I was talking about there. So well done, Neil. He's found it straight away.
I've just seen that.
He's just seen it. That's the one, the club it's called.
Right, so Brian Tweddle says, I'll read lads, what do you think about Bruce's decision to request the remainder of the season to be played behind closed doors just to get the season finished?
Awful.
Well, I think it's going to be a no-brainer anyway. Like, I don't think, as fans, we're going to be allowed in any stadium until next season starts.
If the season finishes this summer, let's say, then it'll be behind closed doors. I reckon there's no way they're going to allow crowds of 50,000 here, 80,000 in Manchester. Whatever, come together.
So there's rumour today where everything was going to be played in the Midlands, and the Premier League clubs, it was going to be treated like a World Cup where everyone's stationed in like a hotel or a complex, then obviously just travel to the game, go back, and vice versa.
We're apparently going to televise all of it, like every single, was it 80, 90 games? They're going to televise them all as well. To be honest with you, it sounds ridiculous, but I mean, this has never happened before. So any suggestion could happen. Like, you know, they were talking about on the Ramble earlier. The kind of I would settle for that. Like, if we get the season finished,
I think I'm with Chris like that. The only way of getting the season finished, that there's going to be games behind closed doors. So whether people don't like that Bruce has said that, you need to face facts and admit that's probably what's going to happen. So
yeah, it's not going to. It's the drum. Look, I've just been banging for ages, saying like, oh well, if the season isn't going to finish as it is, it's going to be like something special. I mean. Again, I'll listen to Ramble again. We're saying, why not finish it at the end of next season? So just take whatever time we need this summer and then finish the 19-20 season in 2021.
Yeah.
Because then instead of trying to crush a season and a third into the next kind of 12 months, which is kind of what they'll be doing, just play this season over. Just have a rest. Even just play 1 or 2 games every weekend. So you could play. They're not going to be able to give 3-4 weeks maybe, but I don't know. It's kind of, there's probably a really good reason why it's a fucking terrible idea. Like, but
so with that one then, do you mean then just basically wipe out next season then? So
yeah.
What season would that be? Sorry,
2021.
Aye, so just miss that one out and then just start your 21-22 season. Yeah, I think that's more of a cleverer way to go. Like, just miss out the following year. Just miss it. Like, it is what it is.
I mean, given that we've already played whatever 28, 29 games out of this season. I mean, as funny as it'll be for Liverpool not win the league, as near as I would deserve it. Like, so it takes care of all the kind of promotions, relegations. What effect it might have is on smaller clubs like Northern League clubs and stuff, where they really could do without losing a year's worth of income from gates and bars and stuff like that. Like, so
it's financially, isn't it? Like,
in fact, nowadays I'm saying there. I mean, it's probably clubs in the Championship will struggle. Yeah, from the Northern Premier down, it's been cancelled. Subject to appeal, like. But I'm saying that, and there's probably Championship teams like QPR, Barnsley, Millwall who might struggle with that, like, because they rely on gate receipts and beer and pies and shirts getting sold. So it's probably a crap idea, like, but.
Unless the Premier League or the FA can help them out. Sorry, I said Premier League. I mean FA. If the FA can help them out, you know what I mean? Because obviously, of course, as you've said, it's a time that we don't know what the hell's going to happen to it. But I feel a little bit that the precedent's been set a little bit where they've cancelled, null and voided the Shields season, like that level of football.
Yeah,
and you feel it's just like, I understand that's lower tier, but the precedent's been set there that it can happen. Because I didn't think it would happen. Period. I thought all of it would finish at some point.
Well, obviously they don't have the funding, the sponsorship, the TV money, and everything like that coming in. That's needed to keep the top level of teams going. I mean, there's already a lot of talk about Leeds potentially going under unless they look at their wage bills and structures and stuff like that. I know other clubs are talking about it at the minute as well. About do they need to renegotiate temporary contracts for the players to like give them a wage cap to take like a basic pay cut kind of thing to keep it ticking over because of obviously the money that they're on.
Did you see the news today that we were the first Premier League club to do the 80% thing for non-essential staff? So it's like scouting teams, back office people, I believe. I could be wrong there, but it's kind of what I'd heard today.
Yeah, so the first ones that to fill up it's at the end of April, isn't it? So they'll be paid 100% of the wages until the end of April, and then it'll be looked at again. But they've been told to apply for it kind of after that, which there seems to be a bit of noise around that. But to be fair, it doesn't really impact the people that are going to be getting it because they're still going to be getting paid their wages essentially. But not by the club. The club will pay them, and then the club will then claim the money back from the government.
Well, they're getting 80% of the wage, not.
Well, they'll get 80% from the government, but then the club will give them 20% if they're going to continue to pay them 100% of it, or they'll receive 80% of the wages.
It sounded like 80% they're going to get from what I've seen. And also, I said non-essential stuff. Then I didn't mean that. That sounded wrong. They are essential. I just meant they're not playing stuff. Sorry, that's a better word. Sounded terrible.
But to be fair, it's not like they can be going. They can't go to work and do the job anyway. So they're essentially being put on gardening leave, aren't they? Rather than being taken into work and expected to go in and turn up and not do anything. Just
I think the problem is, mate, though, that we're the first club that's made that decision to do that, especially on the week which. Not only Mike Ashley's had bad publicity for wanting to keep Sports Direct open, but that affects Newcastle United as well, unfortunately.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. Why is it a bad thing?
It's happened after he's taken season ticket money as well, so it all looks... It's not good PR, is it? I mean, whether or not you read loads into that or not, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I do, but it's easy to kind of make an argument against Ashley with the kind of sequence of events that's kind of come to pass over the past week or so. I didn't realise that it was 80% plus the club giving them 20. I thought it was 80% and probably that's it.
I just thought it was 80% as well.
Well, the government pay 80% of your wages, and then it's down to the individual employer as to whether they then pay the 20% difference.
So the staff are getting 60%, then is that what you're saying?
The government will pay 80% of your wage essentially, but the club still have to pay it. So if I'm employed by the club, I will still receive my wage, but the club can apply to the government to recoup that money.
I read that different. I read it as if that the club were going to do April's wage where the government went 80% and the club were the remaining 20% for April. Then the next one would drop down to 80% full stop, which apparently the club have told them that the staff to contact the government and then obviously go for this grant.
That'll be to register for the grant.
No, but isn't it the other way around? Don't the club pay you? Then the club's got to get that money back from the government. So why is staff going to go to the government?
They have to register that they've been furloughed so that they can then claim for the grant.
Right, okay. So they've got to be on some sort of database.
It's like, so they basically is if you're saying but that's why I'm saying I don't see why people are saying that there's a bad thing, because it's essentially meaning that the people aren't being made redundant, for instance. I
think what the problem is, though, mate, is that the players haven't been affected. That's the problem. So at this moment in time, that there's clubs across the globe which are looking at players' contracts and openly coming out and looking at letting one know that we're looking to drop it, obviously because of the current climate, to keep everyone in job. There's players coming out which are taking money out of their own pocket. Yeah, so they're taking money out of their own pocket to keep the staff there. And there's nothing being said at Newcastle United at the minute. So you can't expect Shelby to be sat there picking up 80 grand a week, 70 grand a week, whatever it is, and for staff who's on like 20 grand a year to take a pay cut. It's not fair. Like, at the end of the day, it's not fair.
But it's certainly better than saying that person that's on 20 grand, you're now not employed. That's my point.
It is, but you could say that for the same.
I get what you're saying.
The players are sitting on the horses; they're not doing anything, are they?
Am I right in thinking that when it all blows over, they go back to the rules and just kind of continue? Or?
Well, that's what's being said, mate. They're saying that job security, but you know what? This club is like at times, like all this could go on. Like no one's got a job to go back to.
Yeah.
You never know.
That's it. But then you look at, like, for instance, Wetherspoons, where they basically didn't even offer their staff to do this. They just basically essentially made them all redundant without any payout whatsoever.
Yeah, you just had that shit house and get a job in Tesco instead, didn't you?
Yeah.
What a dickhead, him. Like, we're going off like topic, like, but over the last week, it's shown you, like, people's true colours, hasn't it?
Well, he was doing it there last year,
yeah. But, like, you've got people, like... Well, that's what I mean. You've got people who haven't got a pot to piss in. They'll only go out and help others. Then you've got people that have got money, where money, like, they would never ever stress about money. And they're happy letting staff go and struggle under these times.
Thing is, that money could all be wallpaper.
That is true. That is true.
Well,
so,
Richard Branson's is all tied up in Caribbean islands and the stuff like that, isn't it?
So, Marty Lawrence said that he's read today that Barcelona players have taken a 70% cut across the board just to keep the staff funded.
Barcelona will have a hell of a lot of staff behind the scenes, like, won't they?
Yeah. You imagine so, like,
Yeah, you just think of all of the teams that they got, not just the football team as well. Obviously, they've got the entire sporting academy and stuff like that.
You've got one of your players on over $1 million a week. Like Messi's some wage, right? It's $4 million a month. That just on one man.
That's just contract based. That's just club wage.
Yeah, that exactly. Yeah, it's. In Barcelona aren't rich. They're not as rich as, like, you know. They are, of course. Of course, the rich. Sorry, that's a bad word, but I mean they're not mega rich. You know what I mean? I'm sure aren't them run by the fans still a little bit and stuff. There's not a massive amount of wealth there. Like, you know.
Well, that's why they had to take the sponsor, wasn't it, a few years ago?
That's right. Yeah, because they couldn't. You know. So, and as I say, if you're paying £1 million
for years and years.
But I think there's. I think what Chris had said there about we're the first Premier League club, like, to come up with that type of option. I don't know. That's what doesn't sit well with me personally. I don't know. I just feel like it's an Ashley thing again, where it's like, well, I need to save a bit of money here, so get to the government and see what they'll do. Do you know what I mean? Whereas no other clubs in the Bournemouth haven't done it, Norwich haven't done it. What? Like, I don't know. They might all follow suit. It just doesn't sit right with me at the moment, personally.
I think that's probably what's happened, mate. I think they were waiting for the first person to bite the bullet and do something. Then obviously, I think the rest will follow suit, like you said. But after the week that our owner has had, it probably wasn't we shouldn't have made that decision to be the first ones to do it. Especially, like Bessie mentioned there, on the back of the whole season ticket fuck up as well, where other clubs are looking at helping the fans out. Our club are taking full payments for people who are on direct debits, monthly direct debits, and they're taking 500-600 quid out of the bank accounts.
Yeah, it's not.
That's horrendous.
See, I
and the club
agree
still
with
haven't
that.
Came out and said anything.
So the bit where if you're paying monthly and it's came out in full, then absolutely that's wrong. But there's been this outrage of people's direct debits coming out for the season ticket. We've known since December, January time that money was going to come out. Yes, it's bad timing, but everybody knew when that money was going to come out, how much was coming out, and the date that it was coming out. whether you paid any attention to it, your direct debit mandate or whatever is another question. But
there has been a hell of a lot going on the last few weeks. I don't know if you've noticed, but like,
no, I know, but I'm saying,
like, you know what I mean? To remember a fucking direct debit date. I mean, how you know what I mean? People have got
It's not
mortgages
just
to
that.
feel and
It's not
mortgages
just a
to pay.
direct debit date. It's like a lot of people don't want to cancel the likes of a season ticket payments because they will lose loyalty points, and a lot of people are attached to the loyalty points. So I think the fans were sat waiting for news from the club, especially when you've got mortgage companies saying that they're not going to they're going to give mortgage holidays for the next 3 months, but you don't have to pay mortgages. I think a lot of people were hoping that the club are going to come out and do something similar, saying that we don't even know when the season's going to. This one's going to finish now, mind when the next one's going to start. So I think a lot of people were hoping that the club would come out and give a bit of reassurance to the fans, saying we're not going to take any payments because we haven't got a fucking clue what's going to be happening.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But that didn't happen, so you know the money's going to come out. So but you can't have all of that rage against the club when you've got some responsibility as well.
But however, you're talking about a multi-million-pound business here. Can't even send out an email with what it's going to look like going forward. Zero contact throughout this. I think is absolutely diabolical.
Because they've obviously had no intention to not delay it or to stop the payments or anything like that, because they would have done it, wouldn't they? They would have sent out a communication to stop it.
I understand that, but what we're saying though is well, do you think that's all right then?
It's always said how little for the Premier League clubs how little gate receipts are actually worth compared to TV money and sponsorship and whatnot. I mean, we give 10,000 season tickets away for now this season, so it's a gesture, even just a gesture of goodwill for a little bit of good PR. Just say if they said we're going to postpone your payment up until such a point as we know what's going to happen, and then we'll let you know, and it wouldn't have. It just feels like kind of the point that I made there that they're a multi-million-pound. Apparently, for the years of austerity that we've had under Ashley, have put us on a really good footing financially, and yet we're the first club to do that. And we haven't offered that kind of olive branch with regard to season ticket payments. And I know where you're coming from, Mark. I mean, I know when my season ticket goes out, but I'm fortunate enough that I know no one knows, but I'm in as secure a job as I think I can be in the minute. Whereas some people, self-employed people that work get paid week on week, month on month, don't necessarily know. It wouldn't have been hard to do. And as I say, given how little apparently season ticket money, and this is only a tiny amount. Season tickets really only think it's the ones who are on an annual deal. I mean, I pay monthly. I don't know what you. That's all right. I'm assuming you're monthly because you're
a monthly. Yeah.
So this will be I couldn't say for certain, but it's going to be a percentage. It's going to be a fraction of the total season ticket holders. Why not just take a hit short term?
I might be wrong here, but I think it might be Bournemouth, mate, who postponed payments, and it was going to cost Bournemouth, it was something like 2-3 million to do that, and they took that hit for the fans. I'm sure it was Bournemouth.
Bournemouth have definitely done it. That's the one that I've heard and come out and did, and I agree. It would have been a nice thing to do, but you know the fact is the club haven't done it. They haven't came out and said they would. So you cannot just put all of the blame onto the club for doing that. I
think in the current climate, though, I think the club could have easily released a statement saying that we will be taking the payment. There's not going to be any holidays, so cancel it if you don't want payment to come out.
That's what I'm saying. They did that in January, didn't they?
That was before the whole coronavirus was kicking off our year, though.
That's the thing is with Bournemouth as well, though. It's not as if they've lost £2 or £3 million. It just means they get it later on.
Yeah.
So
and I agree that would be the right thing to do, but
I pay mine up front. I don't pay monthly. I pay mine at the start. I'm not bitching and moaning for any refund. I'm not asked. I'm not bothered. But I'm still so angry about the fact that people have been charged a monthly direct debit. As Bestie says, people that might not know when the next income is going to come, and it doesn't affect me one iota. Like, it doesn't bother. Like, technically affect me, but I think it's disgusting the way the club's done that. Personally, I think it's terrible. And again, I don't want to go too deep here, but you know about the staff situation, about them trying to drag people in here when closed shop should have been shut. We all know that. The bottom line is the man at the top will take pound signs over people. Bottom line, he doesn't care. So he's not asked about if you couldn't afford to pay your mortgage because he wants his season ticket money. That's how I feel, personally. How I feel.
Yeah, I was one of those people where I woke up on Monday. It must have been Friday or Saturday, I think it was. I woke up to a message off one of my mates, Toby, basically saying, mate, check your bank account. Like, I pay a monthly direct debit, and they've took the full amount out of my account. So I woke up
No, I
shitting
completely
myself. I
agree
thought,
that
Jesus Christ.
That's totally
Sorry,
wrong.
explain that.
That's
Sorry, say
100%.
that. So that you meant to pay monthly, which may be 60 quid a month, but they've took what? Sorry, the full season ticket amount.
The full
Yeah.
season ticket amount, mate.
Christ.
Jesus, I
that
realised
is
that.
ridiculous.
Aye, the full amount that it had. It was all over social media. That
Has the
was
lad got
the
it
full
back?
amount.
Has the
He's
lad
had
got it
to get it back through the bank, mate. So the bank's got to sort him out. The club, I don't want to know about it.
But that's in an instance like that. That is definitely an error by the club, unless they have sent it out in the renewal at the start of the year.
Harsh words, then, Mark, mate.
Dega's gone, yeah. Like,
I can't even know what I'm saying.
Dega looks like that video Teresa made, and just leaning back laughing.
Eating the fish.
I was like, aye, sorry, you almost said that through a tease there that it was an error, Mark, to be fair. Anyway,
I've got a part-time job in the box office.
I was going to ask the next question. I was like, is that where you're going to be working next year? But, yeah.
You never know.
Right, just to bring it up a little bit, yeah. Jack Peters sends in saying he doesn't know who's running the social media accounts, but they're absolutely class the last couple of weeks. Keep them up, especially Twitter and Instagram. So Instagram, once again, we'll mention this on the podcast before. Instagram is being ran by Robin, who's based
You forgot
in.
his name there, didn't you?
I didn't. He's based in. Shut up. He's based in Holland. He's doing Instagram, he's doing Facebook, and he's doing a cracking job as well. Let's be honest. It takes a lot of weight off my shoulders. I don't have to focus on that. I can just focus on like Twitter. These lads here have all got the passwords for the podcast account. Adam is the unsung hero in all this, who working behind the scenes. He's like making this happen right now. So he's the one that takes the footage home after we're recording.
He's lying on his bed, I can. He's doing that.
So we can see him, but you can't see him. So Adam's the one that when we record the podcast on a Monday night, he takes it home. He does all the graphics.
He's dick out at the minute.
He's trying to beat your 5-a-day record.
So yeah, follow the social media accounts. I think Jack says. Right, if anyone's got any more questions, hide them in the comments section because we're going to wrap it up soon. So Keegan Bew says, has anyone got any plans for tomorrow? He also says, anything new on Netflix? So has everyone been watching Tiger King?
Yeah, I just started it.
Not yet, I'm not starting it yet.
Mental. So I watched one episode a couple of nights ago and I thought, am I feeling it? So last night,
I've seen lots of people mentioning it.
about the King of Tigers, mate.
So when you say you watched one episode, do you mean the first one? Because I've watched the first one, and I'm not at the minute. It's a bit.
Right. Yeah, mate, that's exactly how I felt. So I went to bed last night about 10:30, and I thought,
What?
I know. It's a long day, mate. I'm a teacher now, man. I'm a teacher / home worker, everything at the minute. So I was in bed by 10:30, but I put it on. I thought, right, I'll watch episode 2. Mate, 3:15 in the morning, I'm still there watching it.
Right.
So what is it about? All you've said is the King of Tigers.
It's about.
Is it actually about tigers?
It's about a redneck, gay, tiger enthusiast, shall we call it? And he's got like 200 tigers. He's got like
It's
leopards.
like a theme park. It's like a theme park.
safari.
It's a zoo. It's like a zoo.
Yeah.
There's a big roller coaster.
Sorry, I said theme park there. Sorry, I meant
Just got loads of tigers.
Tigers, tigers, monkeys, bears.
You know, on the first episode that I watched, there's a woman who obviously thinks that it's not. What's the word? It's
Cruelty, like
cruelty
a nature. Yeah.
She's banging the drum of that. It's not fair that they walk a metre and a half and all that.
Yeah.
So she's trying to close him down. Obviously, he ain't happy about
Well,
that.
she's got her own. She's got a rescue centre, which basically looks like his park. So
It's the
she's
same
doing
thing.
exactly the same and charging people. So it all goes into the story where apparently she killed her husband because her husband went missing. It's amazing.
There's
Wow.
tigers at them.
Well, that's the rumour, mate.
Oh, I'll keep watching it then.
I haven't even seen it and I've cracked the case.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. Like everyone's on meth by the end of it. Like, It's absolutely class.
Oh well.
How do you get from tigers to being addicted to meth?
A gay and meth zoo. That sounds kind of interesting.
It's
Are you
amazing.
sure you're not watching like Breaking Bad and you've been on the meth while you've been watching it?
It's absolutely class, man. Absolutely
Did
class.
you watch Westworld? No one watched Westworld?
Aye.
Oh,
Yes, but I
too,
haven't
too
started this-
intense for
this
me,
season
mate.
I've
yet.
got it recorded. I cannot wait to watch this one. Like,
Yeah.
cannot wait.
I'm gonna watch it when I've done here. Like
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the first season. The second one was a bit too weird.
Yeah. Was
I watched it. I watched like a 20-minute recap of the story so far on YouTube this weekend, and I'm still none the wiser.
Well,
Like,
I feel I've got it. I know where I know what's happening.
It's quality.
Yeah.
It's so convoluted. Like, but it's a good program.
Yeah. Grateful.
I'm going in a minute to go and watch the Walking Dead, so you better hurry up.
It's alright. Where you got it? You take some more money out of people's bank accounts.
That was just an error. That was just an error.
That was just oversight from the club.
Yeah, that's not what I said.
You did. You did. Like,
Right, so Jack sends in, anyone else missing pubs and takeaways? I've seen more takeaways than anything else. Weeks.
I had a curry on Saturday.
I had an amazing one on. I think I sent you a photo. It was the best I've ever had. I had doner kebab meat with a chicken kebab, blah blah blah. But what's your thoughts on getting them though? Like, do you feel like do you think it's alright to get one? With everything that's going on, because no offense, right? No offense here. I can't go into Chris's now and sit and do this podcast with him. But I can get. Try and be nice. I can get some person, some male or female, to make me food who I don't know. Another random person to put it in a bag.
Male or female?
Well, I have to be careful what I say, right?
He's being sexist again, isn't he?
I didn't want to Billy Joe
So
issues on my hands.
So you order your food
Have
from
you ever heard
takeaway, the takeaway
of
gets
food
made.
hygiene?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
what I'm saying though,
I've seen
I
some
don't
of the
really
ratings.
trust these. Yeah, I don't really trust these places at the best of times. But can you imagine he might just be coughing in your food and all sorts? He's wrapping the bag up all over your food, and then they're giving it to someone who you don't know. And let's be fair, have you ever seen a nice, attractive, healthy, smelling, lovely delivery driver?
I think you need to change it. I think you
I
need to
hope
change
I'm not watching this.
No, but be fair. Have you ever
everywhere else now.
opened the door and thought, hey, you come in here and sit with me and have a meal? Eh? I kind of
Why is the meal there?
What's the meal doing?
What's the meal doing?
Why is the meal there?
He's
Well,
a
a
key worker, isn't he?
He's all right.
What he's doing? He's not on the airwaves now. He's out delivering pizzas and kebabs.
A meal would be a handsome delivery guy.
He'd probably get
He's
later.
a little man meal, like that.
Imagine how tall Emil's quiff is at the minute.
Like a meal being a delivery driver would be like a live porno, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. He'd literally just shag at every door. Well, maybe not meals. But
At
like,
the door.
they'd literally they'd let him in, wouldn't they? You know what I mean? That's the point I'm trying to make. There's a lot of times I open the door and I'm like, whoa, you've actually touched the bag that my food comes in. Like, I'm not happy with this behaviour. Like, it just, you know what I mean? But anyway, so. But
You still had one?
I still had it, but I washed my hands 20 times after it. I was like, I just wasn't pleased. Like, I got my last opening up and poured it on the plate and that.
It's all right if she dies of corona.
Oh,
as long as she don't.
As long as I'm married.
So Mark, who's this? Daryl sends in. This one's for you actually, Decker. He says, "Do you have the matching denim shorts to go with your Steve Austin t-shirts?"
Oh, absolutely. I cut them.
He's got them on him. You just can't see it. But
I haven't. No. But I
thought you were being serious, mate.
no. But I have got cut off jeans. Yeah,
it's in his
absolutely.
hot pants.
If I'm on holiday, I've worn them both. The combo. Like, have you seen? Now, bearing in mind, can I just say it's the worst account on Twitter. It is the worst account on Twitter. But it's that Indie Kalia News. You know, the guy with the drone.
Yeah.
It says breaking at UFC news at 10:30. Positive get in. That's what he says. So it's definitely
Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening.
He's never got one right, has he yet?
Never.
I don't think so, mate.
I don't think so. No, never.
Well, I think he got the Andy Carroll one right, but like 6 years later.
Yeah. Probably true. Yeah, but Austin happy, best in the world. WrestleMania's still going ahead, you know. Did you know that? On this weekend?
What behind
It's still
closed
doing
doors?
they're still doing Raw and SmackDown and that, but they just film it in front of no audience. It's weird, but then
Yeah.
all the wrestlers still like act up like to the crowd and like it's weird.
Austin,
Oh, and he won there.
The Steve Austin clip was class.
when he was going, give me a hell
He's
yeah,
out, yeah.
there was no one there. He said, I said, give me a hell yeah.
And the commentator goes, hell yeah. He
Random
goes,
commentator
"What?"
shout.
Brilliant.
Crazy.
Good crack, good
At
crack.
least
so-
they're still keeping people entertained.
Jack sends in, this one's for you, Mark. Which one is the best Walking Dead season?
Ooh, this season's been really good so far, actually.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I've been enjoying it.
I would
last,
say
last 70. You watched last
10, I think
episode?
110 now. No.
Still out? Oh man, I honestly, when that last week, I was in absolute shock after last week's episode.
No. That's what Declan does when people come to his door, his delivery.
No, absolutely not. Take a
It
step back.
did go a little bit off kilter for a couple of seasons in the middle, but it's came back around with the Whisperers and stuff like that.
I think the first 2 seasons are probably the best.
Yeah, the first couple of seasons were. That one where they were in that like rubbish tip thing was weird with her with like the
Yeah.
fringe like that. That one was a bit bizarre.
The one that stole Rick.
Aye,
Yeah.
Have any of you seen Prison Break?
Yes.
brilliant.
The first season
Great
of that
except
is
for the
next
third
level, isn't it?
series was crap.
Up until
First,
season
second-
3, I would say, mate.
Yeah, 3 was crap. 1, 2, and
I thought
4.
the first season was up there with the best I've ever seen. Like,
Yeah.
to be fair, great show.
Great.
I know I've just totally just changed it. You're talking Walking Dead, but anyway, who cares? Who cares? We've got it.
Well, I think this is what the people need at this time is box set recommendations. It's not like there's out else to be doing these days, is it?
I tell you another good
Everybody's
one, right? And I
stuck in
thought,
those.
oh, what's it called again?
Thank goodness forgot.
Sorry, I forgot his name. He wears a hat, right? He wears a hat. This guy, it's on
Charlie
Sky.
Chaplin.
Strange.
Sherlock Holmes.
GR.
What did you see there, Bestie?
Chris.
Chris. No, just keep talking. I'll reload. The first season of that was absolutely unbelievable. Like,
Where's the hat?
He wears a hat. Is it like one person or?
it's
Don't
was
remember.
about-
there's a girl in it who she's with her partner, and her partner ends off being somebody really bad, and this one guy keeps coming forward all the time. No, not stranger, no. And he wears his hat. He's like proper. Oh, he's a really famous
Hooded.
actor as well. No. Hang on. I'll
on
get it.
Sky?
I'll get it. It's on Sky. Yeah, it's amazing, man.
Dexter.
No.
Dexter does wear a hat. He just
Well,
comes
I'm
around
just
killing
pulling up the
everybody.
comments.
He's a
What
really
we've got
famous
second.
actor as well. There's the guy that's in it.
Right, if anyone knows what Decker's talking about, comment in this comment section,
God's
because
sake.
even Decker doesn't know what he's talking about, yeah.
Jack
Everybody
Nicholson's
forgets
last
me.
week's episode was amazing. You need to get that watched, Chris.
Blacklist.
It was
Blacklist.
unbelievable. Oh, the
Oh, right,
Blacklist.
okay.
Yeah. That's mint.
The
Blacklist.
first season of that's absolutely amazing. I think I got a bit pissed after that, like, but you know, is what it is.
Yeah, every season's got a Blacklist.
Mm. Adam's nodding. Adam, do you watch that? Adam's nodding. He was. Oh, he's not listening to it, is he?
Adam's behind on the stream.
Oh, is he?
He's
Right,
watching
okay.
live.
That,
Yeah.
That's why he's like, he'll nod in a couple of minutes.
Shake his head and go, no. Oh, he's miles
Right.
behind, isn't he?
Aye. Or he's ignoring you.
Probably that one, yeah. Probably that.
Right, I'm going to wrap it up in the next 5 minutes. So if anyone who is watching has got any questions, just send them across. Jason Hobby sends in the Grand Tour or the new Top Gear.
You took me out.
I'm watching
I like the new Top Gear now. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you last time I watched Top Gear.
I
It's
love
better
Joey.
now Joey's left.
Oh, really?
I thought Drew was alright.
It was all right, but I think it's just it's got a better kind of chemistry now with the ones that are in it. Says Adam cashing up.
Yeah.
I was Flint up and Paddy McGuinness are really good in it. Like,
Paddy are really good, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I like
That's
the one
that
where
one,
where they had what was the what was the one I watched the other week?
like the bungee jump
where
off
they
the
did
top
them
of the...
and just
Was that...
oh,
was, it
they were
off,
hanging them off.
Oh, that was berserk, man.
was that off GoldenEye? Was it the same place off GoldenEye? Where PS, you know, off the Bond
It
film?
looks
where they
similar,
jumped off?
doesn't it?
It looked very
Yeah.
similar, like, yeah. I'm not saying it was that, but it looked similar. But that was amazing. That was brilliant. But I think I didn't mind the Grand Tour, but Clarkson does me tits in, to be fair, after a while. He does me tits
Yeah,
in.
he's a wonder, Clarkson. Like, I can't watch him.
Yeah, he is a one. Like, yeah, he is. He is that.
Right.
He is.
I'm going to jump over to Twitter just to see if there's anything from Twitter. So Stuart says,
Adam's laughing his head off. Yeah.
Everyone seems to go along. So everyone seems to go along with the narrative that Newcastle United will now always struggle to attract top players due to our geography. Do you think with the right owner we can overcome this, rediscover that big club status, and be a destination of choice for top players again?
Yeah,
100%. 100%. Yeah. If you had told me years ago that a team that in Manchester would be able to sign the players and have the success that them have, that wasn't Man United, I would say you're totally wrong. Every player would want to go to Man United, not Man City. But money talks, and I think it could happen. I really do.
What's
really
the difference between the northeast and the northwest? Nothing. But people will go to Liverpool just because they're a big name. They've been famous in the past and stuff like that. You look at some of the players that go out there now. Look, you know what we're talking.
He's sick of your shit.
He's off to watch The Walking Dead.
That was just an error of judgment from Bessie.
He's gone.
You know, you see, once you get,
He's got to find out there.
No, that's fair. It is,
at least it's Belgian. Well, see, like we said, like we started off talking about the Man United game. Look at the players we attracted then. You know, by having a successful time, although we didn't win it. You know, we started to attract players because of the reputation we had. We're appearing at the top, the right end of the table and stuff like that.
What's funny? You say that as well, and I totally agree with what you're saying, Mark. You're absolutely right. But when you think of we picked up Ginola for not that much money at that time, it was obviously a massive success. We had Robert Lee. We picked him up from very cheap.
Bolton,
and we picked up Beardsley at 33 or 32 for a couple of million. It wasn't like it wasn't like every single player was 20 million. Like everyone wasn't a Shearer, 15 million world record as well.
Yeah.
Clever business for good players that Keegan knew that fitted the system that he wanted to play. You look at the back four. The back four is not the best in the world. Keeper's not the best in the world, right? But maybe that's why we didn't win now. But anyway, that's another argument. But you know what I mean? I still don't believe you have to throw billions at something to be okay, to be good. It helps, of course. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
No, but you just look at the obviously Wolves have spent a fair bit of money to get where they are, but then you look at Sheffield United that are having a successful time. There's other teams that are there and abouts. Look at West Ham. Look at Everton. They've spent millions and millions and millions and have done nothing.
So you look at Leicester.
It's about getting that balance, isn't it?
Leicester's a good example of don't get us wrong, they've spent money. I'm certainly not saying they haven't, but they have spent it well. Do you know what I mean? And they've got a good structure there behind the scenes, I think. As well, you look at Everton, obviously just throwing millions at anyone really. That might change your Ancelotti. Don't get us wrong, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Look at Leicester. I mean, before 2015, if Newcastle had signed Mahrez, Vardy, and N'Golo Kante, who are they? What are they going to do?
Absolutely.
But the right players and the right team.
And they still got Danny Simpson at right back at that point.
Where's Morgan? Where's Morgan?
Where's Morgan? Exactly. You know what I mean? It's of course that was a flash in the pan, but you're right what you say. If that was our team, people would be going mental in the summer. Well, right. Still got Danny Simpson right back at shite. It is what it is. Do you know what I mean?
Any questions that you just want to go through, or want to wrap it up?
I think I want to ask another one because I just don't want to go next door and speak to her. So can we just talk more?
Imagine if she's watching, mate. She's in that room watching.
She's probably just heard us actually, so I'm waiting for that door to come up like Stone Cold going through that door in a minute. come through,
smash through that window behind you.
Be like Goldberg and have the security knock on the door, let him out.
Nah, it'll be like Undertaker, mate. All the lights will just go off, then they'll come back on to be behind you.
It's probably the closest he's been to us in the last 24 hours.
Right, so yeah, mate, I'm ready to wrap this one up. If you're all done, let Mark go and watch The Walking Dead.
Yeah, watch Westworld and have me burger. Yep.
You need to go and watch last week's episode.
I do, mate, but I'm off to watch some Tiger King.
Tiger King, the next time we see him, he's gonna have a blonde wig on. He's got the
Tiger.
He'll be there, he'll be there.
I'll have a panther. I'll have a panther set, yeah.
As long as taking meth. Taking meth.
I'll have any teeth. Right, lads. Thanks once again for joining me tonight. And once again, thanks to Adam for putting all this effort in behind the scenes. And yeah, remember to stay at home. Some people aren't. Stay at fucking home.
See that on Sky there were 25 people had a karaoke party or something and they had the worst spread. The worst spread ever.
The hunting buffet, that like.
Hey, that was awful. A plate of oranges. Hey man. Terrible.
Crazy. Well, look at Jack Grealish. Just popping around his mate's house for the night.
Wanker.
Yeah, there was a question about him, but I didn't want to really give it any airing, to be honest with you. So yeah, we'll
he scored the goal that won us. Scored the goal that won with the championship though, so he's always had a place in my heart. Like.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Lovely bloke, great man.
Good mates with Kieran Clark, isn't he?
Aye, aye.
We're
Right,
done.
lads. Well, I think that's it, isn't it?
Thanks everyone for watching. Keep yourselves safe. Wash your hands. Cough in your elbow, or wherever you're supposed to cough, your inside elbow. Don't try cough in your elbow. That looked really weird, wouldn't it? And yeah, you like
Dab
your
it again.
Dab it.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody wave. Bye.
Adios.
Right. Thanks for coming.
Just keep waving. Keep waving, everybody.